New Zealand at the time was one of the only countries to pretty much stomp out COVID-19, meaning its citizens lived a mostly lockdown-free life.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video, guys. If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell because we're on the road to 100K. And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
I personally don't think I've ever heard a bad word spoken about New Zealand. Sometimes regarded as being one of the most beautiful countries in the world, this isolated nation is a very desirable place to visit, live and retire. I was lucky enough to travel there in 2020, but then something called COVID-19 decided to pop up and ruin all of my plans. So in this video, we've got 15 reasons why we think New Zealand is the best country in the world. Because my name is Sam, and you're watching the Geography Bible. Alright, so let's kick off this video with number 15. Its natural beauty. New Zealand is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful, picturesque countries in the world. From Mount Cook to Milford Sound to Hobbiton, New Zealand is a very mountainous, rugged country, so it offers some of the most stunning, picturesque views you will see on Earth. With it being a relatively narrow island, you are also never too far away from the ocean. Number 14. Its climate. New Zealand has a largely temperate climate. While the far north has subtropical weather during summer, inland alpine areas of the South Island can be as cold as -10 degrees Celsius in winter. Most of the country lies close to the coast, which means mild temperatures, moderate rainfall, and abundant sunshine. Pretty much the perfect climate. Not too hot, but not too cold. Apart from earthquakes and the odd cyclone, New Zealand does not experience much life-threatening extreme weather.
Okay, no tornadoes, no hurricanes, no tsunamis, but earthquakes.
Yeah, but
what level earthquakes though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you saw on the map where the earthquakes.
Yeah, I didn't look too.
It's not really on the mainland.
Yeah.
From basically what he just showed.
Do y'all feel it still? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all still get that shake?
Right.
Yeah. Not
so
bad
it
though.
seems that we can possibly, you know, anybody, not just speaking on us, but anybody can visit any season.
Okay, I see a trip coming, and it's a nice retiring spot too. So,
Chad, yeah, I say y'all see a trip coming. Y'all want to donate to the travel fund?
Yeah,
that's a long way.
13. Its low population and density. At just 5.1 million, New Zealand is a very small country. What's more, around a third of New Zealand lives in its biggest city, Auckland. To put this in perspective, there are about 75 cities in the world that are more populated than the entirety of New Zealand. New Zealand has a population density of around 18 people per kilometre squared, making it one of the least densely populated countries in the world.
Spacious.
This low population and density means less congestion, less traffic, and a general chilled vibe. Which of course isn't everyone's cup of tea, as some people do prefer the hustle and bustle of big cities. Number 12. Its history and culture. Even though New Zealand is a relatively new country in terms of the year that it was discovered, it is packed full of history. New Zealanders take huge pride in their culture, and the Myrie people, along with their traditions, are well respected. Myrie were the first to arrive in New Zealand, journeying in canoes from Hawaii about 1,000 years ago. A Dutchman, Abel Tasman, was the first European to sight the country, but it was the British who made New Zealand part of their empire. You'll find amazing Maori historic sites across New Zealand, as well as beautiful colonial era buildings dotted throughout the country. Number 11. Hobbiton and Lord of the Rings. Regardless if you are a Lord of the Rings fan or not, the Hobbit set and the surrounding rolling hills are absolutely stunning. It was one of my childhood dreams to visit Hobbiton, and finally in 2020 I got to visit. and I wasn't disappointed. It was the most beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky and 20 degrees Celsius weather. The movie set is New Zealand's third largest tourist attraction, attracting approximately 17% of international visitors,
Tourism
and
is
estimated
good.
to bring in around $78 million to the area annually. Take this with a pinch of salt, but I was told during my tour that the director of Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, receives 50% of all of the revenue, meaning he earns a cool $39 million or so every year. Number 10,
a fire
it's
contract.
isolation.
For real.
New Zealand's isolation from the rest of the world does have economic drawbacks. For example, when I was there, I noticed the price of some groceries is astronomical compared to what it is in the UK and Europe. Quite simply, if New Zealand does not grow a certain produce, it may have to import it from a place that is tens of thousands of kilometers away. Its isolation, however, does work in its favour politically. Apart from Australia, who is like its older big brother, New Zealand doesn't really have any neighbours. And any neighbours it does have, like Fiji, are not world superpowers. Compare this to the likes of India, who have the nuclear superpowers of Russia, China, and Pakistan on their doorstep. Number 9, it's beaches. When you think of New Zealand, you usually think of huge, picturesque mountain ranges and rolling green hills. But what most people don't realise is that New Zealand has some of the world's most pristine and beautiful beaches. New Zealand is actually home to 90 Mile Beach. However, the name is actually completely wrong. It's actually only 55 miles.
Oh, wow.
Still, an incredible
that?
distance. With New Zealand being such a small country population-wise, you'll often find completely deserted beaches that you can have all to yourself. Number 8. Most livable cities. In 2021, 2 of the top 10 most livable cities on Earth were in New Zealand.
What?
Wellington, which came in 4th place, and Auckland, which ranked as the most livable city on Earth. To be a country of this size and feature 2 of your cities in the top 10 is an almighty achievement. Being a livable city pretty much means that it is a nice place to live.
Of course. I mean, you got great weather and I just can't get over that. Like, the great weather sold me at the very beginning of the video. Once I heard that, I was like, yeah, it's a spot to go.
Yeah, and not a lot of people.
And that's
You know,
another one. Not a
a
lot of
person
people.
like me who I really don't like being around a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
I would love being there, you know. But my question is, because you guys are so far away, and I know that y'all have a great tourism industry, how do you guys feel with not having neighbors other than Australia?
Yeah.
Like, how often do you all see a foreigner, like an average everyday person, not a person who works in the tourism industry, not a person who works in entertainment? What else is frequent?
I was gonna say tourism.
I think the restaurants could fly. I think the rest, because
Yeah.
the tourist people will go to the restaurants, but like how often?
And depending upon where the food is like originated from, because now we have food from all over the world located with us. They probably have the same thing, and they probably got like foreigners that work there too. You know, so
Yeah. So that's what I want to know. I did have something else. I forgot it.
I think New Zealand is like just a whole vibe. They chilling, they ain't worrying about nobody, and nobody worrying about them, and they living a life that's just at peace, like
right at
luxury.
peace. I like that.
Crime, clean environment, and job opportunities are usually the main factors to contribute to a livable city. It must be noted, however, that when the 2021 rankings were released, New Zealand at the time was one of the only countries to pretty much stomp out COVID-19, meaning its citizens lived a mostly lockdown-free life. Now, of course, since then, things have changed. Number 7. Low corruption. New Zealand is one of the least corrupt nations on Earth. In fact, it usually battles Denmark and other Nordic countries for the top rankings in the world. In 2021, New Zealand ranked as the equal least corrupt country in the world, alongside Finland and Denmark. As mentioned earlier, New Zealand doesn't really have any enemies, and because it isn't a nuclear power, has a relatively small economy and population, it rarely finds itself getting involved with foreign affairs. Number 6. A relatively small country that offers everything. Although New Zealand is rather remote and small, it offers a wide variety of activities that its residents and tourists love. From gorgeous beaches and surfing to skiing, whale watching, mountain climbing, and wine tasting. As mentioned earlier, this country offers a range of different climates and landscapes. so you don't actually ever have to leave the country, as most things are already on your doorstep. Number 5. Queenstown. Often described as the adventure capital of the world, not only does it offer activities for thrill seekers such as skiing, bungee jumping and skydiving, it is also one of the coolest and most beautiful looking cities in the world. Queenstown sits on the shore of Lake Wakatipu, among dramatic alpine ranges, a popular holiday and backpacking spot for any time of the year. Queenstown is renowned for its 4 distinctive seasons. Winter brings crisp blue sky days with snow perfect for skiing. Spring retains the snow but blooms into longer, warmer days. Summer offers sunshine and long twilights, and autumn a burst of brilliant red, orange and gold. Number 4. Its social purpose. New Zealand ranks 3rd in the world when it comes to social purpose. Now, what exactly is social purpose? Well, it's the country's attitude and actions towards a variety of social attributes, such as animal rights, human rights, the environment, commitments to climate change, gender and racial equality, and many more. For this reason, New Zealand is a very progressive, healthy place to live. Now, of course, this doesn't mean it's perfect, but ranking 3rd in the world means it is one of the best countries in the world for its social purpose performance. Number 3. Its road trips. New Zealand is a country built for epic road trips.
Now, I know the road trips is fire. To be located in New Zealand and you on the road, it's like ain't nothing else around you.
Right.
The road trips got to be peaceful, beautiful sceneries. You brought the windows down, blast that music.
Yeah, but this is my question.
Ooh.
Where's the gas stations?
I'm
Because
pretty
we
sure
have
they got
heard that it takes a while to get from one place.
Maybe they're operating off of Tesla.
Tesla. Okay, where's the electric stations?
I don't know. Is that one right there? No, I don't know. Somewhere though. But again, I just know the road trips would be like that'd be like one of the best things to do. And I know you love
vouch for this,
too.
as I did a road trip through the country in 2020. Unfortunately, a global pandemic decided to pop up, which ended up ruining most of my plans. Low amounts of traffic outside the major cities, alongside some of the most breathtaking views you will ever see, results in an absolutely stunning road trip adventure. Being an isolated country with low population means there is less light pollution too, so the night sky makes things even more epic. To drive from the North Island to the South Island, you must take a 3-hour ferry from the capital Wellington across to Picton, which is a little pricey, but admittedly it is extremely fun. You can sip on a glass of wine as you float past the incredible fjords. Number 2. Its chilled, laid-back vibe. Its isolation, low levels of corruption and crime, low population and density, alongside a society that is friendly, open-minded and welcoming, means that New Zealand is an extremely safe, chilled place to live, work and study. If you're looking for a busy city or country with a booming economy and that hustle and bustle vibe, then New Zealand probably isn't your best bet. You might be better off living in a big city in Australia. And finally, number 1, the best country to survive a global collapse. New Zealand is often voted as being one of, if not the best country in the world to survive a global collapse in society. Its rapid response to the pandemic and ability to completely seal itself off from the rest of the world has reassured its citizens that if a society was to collapse, let's say an even deadlier pandemic or a nuclear holocaust, then New Zealand would be a safe place to be. Again, with its isolation and political stability, there are very few countries that pose a threat to New Zealand. If a nuclear war was to break out, there is a very slim chance that New Zealand would be targeted. Its mountainous...
Can we stop speaking these things into existence? Please.
Yeah, that's not nothing nobody would want. I mean... Yeah, it's not nothing nobody would want.
Good terrain alongside being an island would also pretty much make a land invasion impossible to win. Now, of course, New Zealand isn't perfect. It does have many issues of its own. For one, the country is tucked away in the corner of the world. It's a country that does require some planning to visit, and flights aren't cheap there. Round trips from the US or Europe are almost always over $1,000, and the journey takes over 23 hours. And even when you arrive, the country itself is far from being budget friendly. It is one of the most expensive countries in the world to travel and live in. So what are your thoughts on New Zealand? Would you live there? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, man. New Zealand, what's up? Hey, we need to hear from our New Zealanders themselves in the comment section. More about New Zealand. I know there's like just a lot more things that's fascinating about y'all country, and I would love to know. It's also interesting to me that Queensland has more of the seasons that is noticeable, but then other locations is just more like good breeze and good sceneries year round. So it's interesting.
So he posed the question at the end of the video.
Would you live in New Zealand?
New Zealand kind of far away.
And a little pricey. Y'all a little pricey.
Yeah, we live a good life.
Good stats though,
but we're very frugal.
Very good stats.
We're very frugal. If I wanted to go to a restaurant and I saw my bill come out to $200, see, I'm not the one who like to spend that much on food that I could have went to the store to cook at home.
But we'll pause. Even the food at the store sometimes got to be imported.
High.
Yeah,
it's still high.
And another thing that's weird to me is that how y'all have such a beautiful atmosphere, but then it's like the vegetation. Y'all have to get some of this stuff transferred over. I would think y'all would have it all because of the. But you know.
We didn't get into like the climate and the landscape and all that.
Yeah, we can get into that. So, you guys send in the video. We'll check it out.
Let us know about that.
Big facts.
No shade to New Zealand. Y'all see how many videos we have on New Zealand.
At all.
So we like y'all. We do. Y'all just kind of far away. Yeah. If I wanted to get to my parents or my grandmother, they gotta get on a flight that far away. They wouldn't come. So
yeah, true.
We'll just be tucked away with y'all.
Yeah.
We'll have to make a whole new family.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, but no shade at all. We love New Zealand, all right? We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like to support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.